Welcome back, guys and girls, and my first strongman slash boxing video of the year. Obviously something a bit different this time, and that's obviously with Hafthor against Stephen Ward for his first ever boxing exhibition match, which is happening in 24 hours time, less than that actually now, in Conrad Dubai. And obviously Hafthor, aka the Mountain, is going to be taking on Stephen because he basically wants to prepare and get himself ready for his upcoming fight with Eddie Hall in September in Las Vegas. And obviously that's going to be scheduled as the heaviest boxing heaviest heavyweight boxing fight of all time. And obviously, as we know of those two, there's been beef for many years. The fight was obviously scheduled to take part in Iceland, but as usual, due to COVID, surprise, surprise, it was cancelled and moved last minute to Dubai. As we know, pretty much all sporting events have taken place in the Middle East last year, now going to this year, because it seems like the only safe place for events to happen. Now, there's a few interesting commentators actually going to be at this fight, and some pretty cool ones, actually, in my opinion. So first of all, you've actually got the legendary UFC legend, Rutten. He's going to be one of the commentators for this, which is pretty cool. We've also got Chris Llyod. Obviously, as we know, Chris does commentary for the World Boxing Super Series and also Matchroom Boxing. And lastly, Carl Frampton will also be there, MBE, may I add. He's obviously the former 2 times world weight champion, boxing champion. Obviously, he unified the WBA and the IBF with the super bantamweight titles back in the day. So some cool commentary there from those guys, and it's going to be available to be streamed on Core Sports World for free, and also you can watch it on Thor's YouTube or Twitch channels. Background on Stephen Ward, if you haven't heard of him. So he's an Irish, Northern Irish boxer, nicknamed the Quiet Man. He's 6'2", around 200 pounds and 90 kilos, and he's had 13 wins, 1 loss and no draws. So he's had a pretty good career so far. Started in 2016. He's orthodox stance, and also he's the cruiser class. So he's done pretty well in terms of his career so far. And you know, looking at the training montage of him getting prepped for this fight, I'll be honest, you can see that he's a proper boxer. You know, no disrespect to Hafthor, but obviously this guy has done it pretty much his whole life and is a professional boxer. He wasn't a powerlifter or strongman before that, so he definitely is a boxer and has the ability of a boxer in terms of all aspects of fitness, skill, technique, and everything else that's required to be a successful boxer. And as you can see, as I mentioned about the stats, he's done very well for himself. Fair play and credit to Hafthor, because obviously he's putting himself on the line here, you know, and talking about obviously the footage, you know, you can review it with me as we go along. Between the two of them, unless Hafthor is holding something back and pretending that he's as slow as he appears, and basically just, how can I say, an awful boxer, really. I think he may be holding something back just to like surprise the fans and even Stephen himself, because you know, when you look at the difference between them, obviously Hafthor is a lot bigger. You know, he's a stronger man. He's, you know, multiple world record holder. Obviously with the 501 on the deadlift. Granted, it's a home gym set up, and obviously we're going to get to that at the end of the video of Eddie. Also, I've got a call out from Thor yesterday on his Twitch channel, which I'm going to share with you as well to see. But before we get to that, obviously talking about Hafthor again, you know, he retired last year, early 2020, from Strongman, because he wanted to focus on other things, his family and his health. And as we know, for 10 years he'd been pushing his body to extremes, even getting Bell palsy as a result, a form of, you know, a mini stroke essentially. And I believe that was down to PEDs, you know, like all the drugs he was taking and the amount of stress he was putting on his body. 6'9", obviously he's always going to be a big guy, as we know. He was always going to be bigger than most people because he can carry a lot more weight on his frame. But I mean, he was sitting at 200 odd kilos when he did that 501 deadlift. So obviously he's got a significantly better reach than Stephen based on his height stature. He's a good, you know, 6 or 7 inches taller than Stephen, and you know, he's dropped 40 kilos since he retired from Strongman, so he's sitting about 160, 170 kilos. So you know, he's got a good 60 plus kilos on Stephen. But as we know, you don't always, we've seen in different types of boxing fights and bouts, UFC and other combat sports, that the bigger guy doesn't always necessarily guarantee you that win. They're normally slower, they're more predictable with their movements, you know, they've got longer limbs, so they're generally a bit slower. Obviously there are exceptions like Tyson Fury and AJ in obviously heavyweight boxing, and Deontay Wilder. Granted, Deontay's lighter than Fury and AJ, but I mean, when I've been watching the videos over and over again for the last few months, and the more recent ones with Hafthor, he's got some slight improvements, but I just feel like his guard's always lower. He moves slow. He's predictable. You can see where the shoulder starts to move, where he's going to hit. He's not light on his feet, of course, because he's still a heavy guy despite losing all that weight. He's still a massive guy, 360 odd pounds. That's a significant difference. He's 150, 160 pounds heavier than Stephen. Stephen's going to have that advantage with skill, accuracy, speed, agility, stamina. They're talking about endurance. I mean, looking at this, how he hits the bag, I mean, almost like he's scared of it. And like, I watch and I think, is he doing this on purpose to like put people, like make them think that he's just going to be annihilated, to make Eddie feel more confident that, he's going to smash him? Or is he doing this, this deliberate dancing around it? I mean, come on, like if you look at that, it's pathetic punches. It's just might, unless that's a 1,500 kilo bag, which it obviously isn't. He's just tapping it. Not to say you always have to hit it with power and whatnot, but it's a bit pathetic what we're looking at, and I just sense that there's maybe more to it than meets the eye. He's holding something back, and maybe he's going to surprise us all tomorrow evening. So the fight's going to be at 7 o'clock GMT time. So the United Arab Emirates is 4 hours ahead of the UK, so it will be 7 p.m. here in the UK that you can watch. And as I said, that's going to be on Core Sports Wales or YouTube channel for Hafthor, like I said, for free. What do you guys think about these two? I mean, obviously, there's a significant difference in terms of weight, stature, reach, their career backgrounds. Obviously, Hafthor, it's his first time having a professional, well, not professional, but first time in a public domain, a boxing fight. And, his opponent's much smaller than him, but does that mean he's going to win? Who knows? Let me know in the comment section below. So that leads me on to the beef between Eddie and Hafthor, which continues. And as we know, this fight is coming in September. Obviously, I mean, there's been so much gossip on social media between the two for 2-3 years plus. The controversy in 2017 where Eddie won World's Strongest Man and Hafthor missed out, and then obviously Hafthor went on to win the year after Eddie retired. So it's almost like unfinished business between the two, because they haven't actually been able to compete in one clear winner against one another, because Hafthor still claims that he was cheated in 2017, and Eddie just constantly says, the better man won, and that's that, accept it. But he can't accept it, and this is why they've signed this 6 or 7 figure deal for this fight. Now, when I look at Eddie's training, I do feel like he is technically better. He obviously has a little bit of an advantage on his height. He can be quicker, more nippier, but still pack a serious punch, because he's got some of the strongest shoulders in the business, and real amazing pressing power. Not just static strength, but explosive power and speed. And I think he might surprise Hafthor there. But what I do rate about Hafthor, and you'll see in the Twitch video that's coming up where I let you listen to what he says about Eddie. Eddie should do some exhibition matches. He should. I don't see how he can just be preparing from training only and sparring. And as Hafthor mentioned, he goes, you're only training against people who aren't hitting back, or they're not as strong and powerful as you. So of course you're going to make them look like they're a bitch, and you whip their ass. It's going to be easy. You're playing up to social media and your fans. So I do, however, feel though that whether Eddie does the exhibition matches or not in prep for this fight with him, that he still has a better potential to win. Cardiovascular wise as well, I mean, obviously being an ex-swimmer, the guy is still so fit. And as you can see, he's a good solid 160 odd kilos. I think 150, 160 here. He's also dropped a lot of weight. I think it's about 4 or 6 stone or so. He's really shredded down, but he's still so strong and powerful and athletic. And Hafthor, granted, does actually say that, and you'll see obviously now in this video coming up where he talks on his Twitch account yesterday.
And then lastly, the message to Eddie Hall. I just hope that you are sparring Eddie, that you're not just punching a man that is not allowed to punch you back. Because I truly believe that if this is your only training, is to hit some pads and to hit the man that is not allowed to hit you back, you're gonna get knocked out. I truly recommend that you consider a new coach, Eddie, because obviously something is not going well for you, because I will knock you out, and you should really consider, Eddie, to do some exhibition fights, because if you do not, this fight's just gonna be too easy for me. That's all I have to say. I hope he watches this video. I hope he sees this, and I hope he takes this seriously, because like, you can be all tough on YouTube. You can make your clips look all tough and blah blah blah, make your editor look good. You can ask your guy to, like, he's able to so many people around the world. Like, it's impressive, man. Congratulations. Anyways, I can't wait. Guys, make sure you tune in this weekend. It's gonna be fucking fantastic. I cannot wait. This is gonna be a great experience for me. I'm hyped.
Leave your predictions in the comment section below, guys and girls. Let me know what you think is going to happen tomorrow with Stephen and Hafthor. And also, what are your thoughts on the upcoming fight now with Eddie and Hafthor? Do you agree with Hafthor that Eddie should do some exhibition matches in prep for this? And, you know, is he being more sensible by doing this, opposed to Eddie just, you know, laying in wait and saying that he doesn't need to do that and put himself on the line like that? Either way, you know, massive respect to Hafthor. Good luck to him, obviously. I do like him. I haven't met him before. He's a nice chap. And, you know, whether or not he wins will be interesting to see how that affects him moving forward in September for his fight against Eddie. And fingers crossed, nothing bad happens between either of them in that time, in terms of, you know, pick up injuries, illnesses. Obviously, still COVID is around all around the world, so hopefully none of them get sick, but we'll see. So if you like the video today, guys, as always, please remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Amigo One Finis, signing out.